It's been over a year since the education programming offered at the Bamfield Marine Sciences Centre came to an abrupt halt as the world around us paused as well. Field trip groups cancelled their trips and summer university courses were put on hold. Areas around the centre, which are usually filled with excited students, were left empty. Classrooms and the cafeteria, spaces which would normally be buzzing with energy as students shared ideas or exchanged stories of their most recent boat ride or beach trip, felt eerily silent. Boats were pulled out of the water to reduce the need for maintenance and care. The Marine Station life jackets, recognized all around town as the unofficial uniform of the Bmsc student, were stowed away and left untouched in their cubbies. Aquaria that were normally filled with diverse and fascinating sea creatures were emptied and scrubbed clean, the organisms returned to the ocean. Even the touch tank in the whale lab, which has been a staple of the hands-on, immersive educational experience at the Bmsc for decades, was emptied and dismantled. Around the world, people, organizations, businesses, and governments scrambled to figure out how to care for each other from a distance and continue to function through the massive and constantly changing landscape of a pandemic. And over the past year, despite the fact that we've been unable to host students here at the Bmsc in person, the Bamfield Marine Sciences Centre has been a busy place. Partnership projects with the Huu-ay-aht First Nations and the aquaculture company Cascadia Seaweed, ongoing research in animal care, and a variety of improvements and repairs to the facilities have continued, thanks to the hard work of the various departments at the Bmsc. In a huge step forward for both local economic growth and the health of the surrounding marine ecosystems, construction has begun on a wastewater treatment system, which is a joint venture between the Huu-ay-aht First Nations, the Bamfield Marine Sciences Centre, and the Bmsc's supporting universities. This new utility will be owned by the Huu-ay-aht First Nations and located on Bmsc property. It will replace older septic and discharge systems, can be scaled up to service additional users, and as a result will improve both local environmental health and wastewater management in the area. Bmsc's member universities provided the land for the plant, the existing outfall infrastructure on our foreshore, and $1 million to tie in the center's wastewater into the new plant. A new partnership has evolved with Cascadia Seaweed. Founded in 2019, Cascadia Seaweed is a quickly growing aquaculture company aiming to produce vast amounts of food-quality, ocean-cultivated seaweed. Last fall, they leased space at the Bmsc and constructed their innovative modular seaweed nursery. This nursery makes use of the Bmsc's vital flow-through seawater system to provide the clean, cold seawater necessary for breeding baby kelp for Cascadia Seaweed's ambitious, climate-positive, and ecosystem-regenerating kelp farms. Research at the Bmsc has continued as well. What have been some of the impacts of COVID on research at the Bamfield Marine Sciences Centre?
2020 was an unprecedented year for all of us. Around the middle of last March, we really didn't know what to expect. And there was a moment where we weren't sure if we would be able to host any research activities at all at BMSC, but we persevered and came up with a detailed, safe work plan that allowed us to safely accommodate priority research. And in the end, we ended up hosting more than 100 folks from more than 20 different research teams that included faculty and grad students from all 5 of our member universities. Unfortunately, because of COVID travel restrictions, all of our international researchers and most of our researchers from Central and Eastern Canada had to cancel their trips to Banfield. But we still wanted to support these clients, so we ended up collecting data in organisms for 11 of these research teams that couldn't make it to BMSC. So all in all, despite there being a global pandemic, the 2020 research season ended up being quite a success.
And what are some of the research highlights that have occurred at BMSC over this past year?
This past year, there's been a lot of research interest in kelp, particularly in why kelp forests are declining and how to reforest them. Doctors Chris Neufeld at the University of Calgary, Sam Starko at the University of Victoria, and Louis Druel, Professor Emeritus at SFU, are all working together to try and better understand the factors driving the decline of kelp that we're observing both locally and globally. In addition to this, researchers from Cascadia Seaweed and Canadian Kelp Resources are working on developing new and exciting methods for repopulating kelp forests and growing new species for seaweed cultivation. Building partnerships is one of our core values at BMSC, and one of the things I was most excited about was watching these research teams come together and collaborate over the past year. Hopefully we'll be able to update you soon with some of their exciting discoveries.
Around the Bmsc, the bustle of activity continues in all departments, adapting to new practices and protocols. Our housekeeping staff have implemented daily disinfection protocols, regularly cleaning touch points and higher traffic areas around the marine station. The Animal Care Department has provided ongoing support for researchers housing fish on station, helping to raise and feed stickleback and salmon, cleaning tanks, and monitoring water quality for these valuable research organisms. Our talented all-weather dive team have continued to operate, regularly escaping the constantly shifting conditions above the surface by journeying beneath the waves to collect specimens. Some of these organisms have been shipped out to researchers across Canada, while others are used right here at the Bmsc by researchers or as movie stars in our online educational programs. A commercial dive team was employed to clean and re-anchor the intake of our seawater system, which provides cold, unfiltered, nutrient and plankton-rich seawater to the research and education labs around the Bmsc. This seawater system is what makes it possible for us to house marine organisms in our facilities in as close to their natural ocean conditions as possible. The staff down on our foreshore have been taking care of the fleet of boats that provide access to the ecosystems around Banfield, even going so far as to strip, repaint, and revarnish the 2 rowboats, which will one day soon again provide university students with a vital source of transportation to explore the water access-only west side of town. One of the most iconic and frequently used boats at the Bmsc is the Alta, which recently sailed to Port Alberni to have the hydraulic tank, hydraulic lines, and exhaust system replaced, a refit which included upgrading this boat to a more environmentally friendly, vegetable-based hydraulic fluid. The team handling IT services have worked on various upgrades, including improvements to the email server, and setting up 2 new live streaming webcams, which you can check out on our website. These new webcams were generously donated by the Bamfield Historical Society. One of the busiest departments at the Bmsc is the Facilities Department. These folks have finished project after project, updating, repairing, refurbishing, cleaning, and building new spaces all around campus. One of their projects you're most likely to find yourself appreciating when you come back to the Bmsc is rebuilding and refurbishing the largest display aquarium at the Bmsc, which is in the atrium of the beautiful Rick Center. The work being done on this aquarium now will provide a stable and secure home for the stunning assortment of fish and invertebrates which are normally available for students and the public to observe in this beautiful tank. And of course, our education programs have had to adapt as well. You might already be familiar with the new and innovative ways we've been bringing students in Canada and around the world into our labs and under the waves during this challenging time. The Education Department has facilitated and produced online summer and fall university courses, a seminar series which can be found on our YouTube channel, and the Bmsc Live program, which continues to bring the magic of the ocean into your own living rooms and classrooms. While we're all crossing our fingers here at the Bmsc that we'll see you back in Banfield in the near future, we've been doing our best to take advantage of this temporary break to make progress on some important projects and continue the research and facility care that is necessary to keep the Bmsc running effectively and safely. When the Bmsc is once again filled with excited and curious students, our spaces will be better than ever before, and will be ready to facilitate and encourage the immersive learning which makes this place so special. See you soon!